Welcome to Coffee with the Pastors in February. So excited to have you join us here on this gathering where gives us a chance to visit Pastor Dan and Pastor Kevin and I talk a little bit more about what's going on in the church and for you to hear us chat about those kinds of things. And so welcome. Grab your beverage of choice. And I've got my actually here. I'm doing the Scandinavian thing. I got my Scandinavian Varsågod Swedish coffee mug here. I'm kind of celebrating the successful bake sale that we had in December. We got a nice turnout of let me look at these numbers. We made $2,436 on that Scandinavian bake sale. I mean, it's just incredible, right?
That's great.
Yeah, and then in addition, there was an individual who was trying to encourage us to do that said, well, if you can make $1,000 on that bake sale, I'll give a gift to the T150 of $1,000. So Trinity at 150 got a gift of $1,000 from somebody because we were
Wow.
at a successful bake sale.
The power of lefse, right?
Right, and good laughs, I think, was the consensus. So
There were so many different items that were sold this year too. Do you have a sense of what were the things that were really popular? Was it pretty even stuff that people signed up for to buy?
well, it was just a very organic is our word here today, kind of thing, because we were going to have just this set amount, but then somebody said, well, I can make bread. So then we had bread, and then we had brownies, and then we had fudge. And so it was very exciting to see all of these different items. But yeah, um, we had a lot of things just go really well, and people seem to be excited about it. I can't really tell you what was the most popular. I know I made a number of things because we ran out of them, and then quick baking some extras. So,
It's
but
such a great tradition, the way that the bazaar and now the bake sale is, been such a cool social activity, a celebration of some people in our congregation's culture, but also just a wonderful kind of community coming together. And what a great thing to have, even though we couldn't be together, people were all bringing their items for the sake of mission. And that's
yeah,
such a cool legacy of that.
it is a very cool legacy. And there was just a very small group that got to work, but lots of people drove through. And we did get some separate donations just for the bazaar. I think we got 1,270 of donations for the bazaar. And so we put all that together. And the group decided, the bazaar gives away all of the proceeds to so many different organizations in North Iowa. They decided that rather than just giving a little bit to so many places, that they were going to narrow it down to the places really in need of food and shelter right now that are providing for North Iowans during this time. So money went to Hawkeye Harvest Food Bank. I think 1,500 to Hawkeye Harvest Food Bank, 1,500 to the community kitchen, and 700 to the homeless shelter. So also kind of a real nice boost for some of those North Iowa organizations.
I think
So
especially around the Christmas time too, that yeah, they've been struggling a lot.
they
So
have, and I think we were getting those messages from folks that, yeah, this is a time when people are hungry and they're hurting, and we need to be supporting our organizations in the community. So I'm so grateful to everybody who participated. And if you're one of those people that's listening in, thank you so much for baking or buying or whatever. It was a great thing to be able to do. But anyway, that's past history. So we need to talk maybe about all the things that are coming up, because there is a lot happening at Trinity here, especially coming up in the month of February. So Pastor Dan, do you want to tell us a little bit about what's happening with regard to worship?
Yeah, so we're gonna start. We're gonna resume in-person worship again, beginning next month. We're gonna start having worship on the first and third Saturdays of each month, beginning February 6th. And we're going to basically follow the procedures that we had in place back in October when we were worshiping on Saturday nights in person, of limiting the total number of people in the room to 85 or less, and require masks. There's going to be seats that will be predetermined so that they're safely distanced. Households will sit distanced apart from each other. We're asking folks to register before they come, and they'll be able to do that by going online or calling the office the week before that service, and we'll take registrations up until Friday afternoon, the week before. But yeah, excited to be able to offer that again. We reached out, if you recall, the reason we stopped worship back in late October was because public health had requested that churches, with the spike that was going on in early November, that churches cease in-person worship and just go back to exclusively online. And so we did that. And they're now saying they feel like it's safe with the procedures like we have in place. It's safe to go back to some limited number in-person worship. So we're going to do that. We're going to start offering that again the first and third Saturdays of each month. And we're also going to offer in-person worship on Ash Wednesday. I think in our conversations talking about the importance of that date, not only kicking off Lent, but just how well attended Ash Wednesday is because of what that means for us in our yearly kind of pattern and journey of faith. We wanted to be able to offer an opportunity for people to both come in person and worship online. So we're going to do a noon Ash Wednesday in-person service, kind of the same procedures as the Saturday night services in terms of numbers and those kinds of things, and then a 6:30 in-person service. And what will be unique about the 6:30 Wednesday services, for the first time, we are going to try a regular worship service live stream, but with people in the room, which is for us kind of, I think, a step toward where we're hopefully heading this spring and summer, of being able to get people back in worship while continuing this live stream service that we know is going to be important for us for years and years to come. So yeah, first and third Saturdays, and then Ash Wednesday noon and 6:30 are some in-person opportunities coming up, and we'll be putting out more information about that here this week and in the coming weeks, so people can sign up for that if they are interested. We know that there'll be a lot of people who are not ready for that yet, and that's totally okay. But for those that are eager to be able to take advantage of that, we'll have something for them. And so Ash Wednesday will kind of kick off Lent, and then there's some really cool stuff planned for Lent. But I know, Pastor Kathy, you've been working on a little bit. Maybe you want to talk about what Lent looks like for us.
Yeah, there's a lot of exciting things, kind of going back to in-person worship like we were doing in October, and then trying some things out with Ash Wednesday. And, we might have to repent after the 6:30 service, things not going well, but it's an exciting time. Ash Wednesday will have in-person worship, but, I think we're probably not going to do the imposition of ashes. So there'll be ashes, but, there's just no way to, get that close to somebody and touch them. And, how do you, do you put a glove on and take the glove off, So, but we'll come up with something nice for Ash Wednesday and kick off Lent, which we've got the theme of listening through Lent. And it's based again on this Living Compass devotional. We did that last Lent. It was listening with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind. Last, it was Lent was practicing courage. In Advent, it was practicing hope. And now we are about listening with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind. And boy, I thought particularly with your sermon on Sunday, and what a beautiful way to talk about the importance of listening to one another in this time. And so it's about listening to ourselves, listening to God, and listening to others. And so we'll have a chance to reflect on that in worship, but also during midweek. We're not going to have person midweek, but we're going to be having midweek services where we are going to have some lay people come each week, a different lay person come and share some of their thoughts based on that topic. So I think it's going to shape up to be a really nice Lent. Becky's got a couple of health challenges going on with calling people and doing some of that kind of thing. And so, yeah, lots of different activities, basically our next coffee with the pastors will be like the day before Ash Wednesday when everything kicks off. But obviously those Lent devotionals will be available in all those different formats that we've had before. We'll have hard copies for people to pick up outside the church. We'll be able to sign up if you want the daily devotional sent to you, or you can also just download your own PDF copy like I did, and do that. So, different ways to engage in Lent, but yet I think a very timely topic for us in terms of listening. But anyway, yeah, a good season coming up. But before we get to all of that, there's all the things that are happening, I guess, in January. We skipped all the way into Lent. Pastor Kevin, you want to tell us about what's actually coming up even sooner?
Yeah. Actually, I'm really excited that this coming Sunday, January 24th, is Confirmation Sunday. And I'm excited because we've been postponing this since May. So it's kind of been on my to-do list for a long time, as well as for the kids and the families too that are part of that confirmation class. And this is this whole year, we all know that's been topsy-turvy. This confirmation worship was the same way. I mean, there's just some interesting things like the families came in and students were confirmed. They affirmed their baptismal promises that God makes, and it to the smallest congregation. Each kid was in the smallest congregation that we've probably ever done confirmation for, and yet going out over our live stream, it's likely that their affirmation of baptism will be witnessed by more people than any other confirmation class in the history of Trinity. So we videotaped them when they came in, and we've got a nice little video that shows that confirmation service for each of those young people. So I'm excited about the way it's turning out. Just another one, Hattie Albrecht, by virtue of alphabetical order, would have been the first one confirmed. She actually was the last one to come in the whole class to be confirmed, but yet on the video, she'll go first again. So there's just all kinds of weirdness with this, but I think we've got a great service lined up. We've got readers and special music from the class, artwork on our banner. They've continued to work on with some help, and it will feel like a confirmation service. So we're going to have hopefully a lot of grandparents and uncles and aunts and godparents or sponsors tuning in as well. And just want to thank all of our guides and parents and mentors, for their patience and their work, and for the students this year, just kind of waiting and waiting and waiting. And then kind of like so many things this year, not quite what we had hoped or dreamed about, but hopefully a good celebration of confirmation this year. So that's this Sunday.
So nice.
Yeah, and we'll have communion too. We've announced that the last couple of weeks in church, but as part of that service, we're doing communion. So people can stop by and pick up the prepackaged wine and wafer at the church outside the east entrance during business hours, or people can just gather some wine or grape juice along with some bread in their homes for their own home altar and participate in communion that way too. So we're excited for that.
I'm kind of excited for a truly church-wide celebration of confirmation. In a place our size, that's hard to do. We often have a full room for confirmation, but the majority of those folks are people from other places, family and friends and sponsors that have come in. Not a lot of our own people that aren't connected to youth that are being confirmed that come to that. And maybe it's my background in much smaller churches, where Confirmation Sunday was something everybody attended. I'm kind of excited that this year everybody who's with us, like you said, on Sunday is going to be at the confirmation service. That's a really cool opportunity
Yeah.
for us this year.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it'll be good for the whole congregation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. How many kids are in this confirmation class?
Well, technically, I think 14. We started, the first one was confirmed. Parker Ledoux was confirmed back a year ago in February. He had finished all of his stuff and his family was moving to Arizona, so we confirmed him before they moved. I think on the video there'll be 12 because we still have one student who, because of family health issues, has not been able to gather the family together to be there. But we're including her in the confirmation class, so her name will be listed and she'll be we're putting together a photo because we can't put everybody together, kind of a different class photo. But they've been good, but they've also missed out. They didn't get the banquet. We sent them a gift card for Culver's, which is not the same as gathering for a banquet with parents and mentors and their classmates at all. But we've tried to do as much as we can to make it, that we're not just brushing past them, that they're a great group of kids and a great group of families. So I'm very thankful for how patient they've been and how we're getting this done finally.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think the other thing from kind of the youth angle is on February 7th is Camp Sunday. Really excited this year that camp is on. Last year, Riverside canceled camp because of COVID. This year they're back on. They learned some things. There were a few camps around the country, ELCA camps, that were open, small handful. And one of them is the other camp in Northeast Iowa, which is Iwalu, which I have a long history with. They stayed open, served about half the number of kids when it was all said and done. But they learned some great things about how to do that safely with distancing and some rules. And they've shared what they've learned with the other camps. So Riverside is back on this summer. We're still waiting to find out about how day camp, Vacation Bible School, is going to work. They haven't decided yet how or if that's going to work. We'll be doing something. Don't know what yet at Trinity, but we'll be doing something. And so we have those dates blocked off, but registration is open for kids that want to go to Riverside right now. And Trinity is so generous that we actually have camperships that we will help every camper who wants to go to a ELCA Bible camp with $300. Doesn't matter if you're going to camp and you're from Trinity. And even in the last couple of years, we've started, if you want to take a friend with you that's not from Trinity, we'll help them as well. We've had some very generous donations over the years and have a great fund set up because that can be really helpful to a family, especially if they have more than one child going, but even one. At $300 sometimes is 50% of camp. So that can make the difference about whether a kid goes to camp or not. And so we'll be having some information during the online Sunday school hour. We're going to have some videos from camp and some special music from Riverside. This year, we're also going to make sure that there's information available for Iwalu because they have some different kind of camping that they do there. It's not all on base camp. They have some trips that go out, especially for the high school age campers, but we'll have information about how to register and what programs are available and how to get, that campership when you sign up. So that information will be there, and the sermon will talk a little bit about camp too.
Can you tell some more stories?
Probably nobody wants to hear that. Probably people do, but I don't know that a sermon is the right place.
Watch the viewership go up that
Camp
week, man.
Camp is so important, though. I mean, really, isn't it? I mean, in terms of creating Christian public leaders and forming people, and just, I mean, look at us, and all having been campers, and then also, I mean, I think we were all camp counselors
Mhm.
at some point. Just that is just a real important ministry, and I'm just so excited about the way Trinity supports our kids going to camp in so
Yeah.
many ways. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we really are fortunate.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's kind of what's coming up on the youth side of things. In terms of youth directors, we'll be posting that job probably in the next week or so. Just have a little tweaking to do on the job description, but that's going to be posted. So we'll, share that with the congregation as well. So if you are thinking about or know somebody that has the qualifications, is interested in being youth director, and actually the position is actually high school and young adult ministries, director of high school and young adult ministries. We want to grow in the area of young adults. We don't have a whole lot there right now, program wise. So we wanted to have a staff person who is looking at that, our college students and those out of high school that go to work. How do we keep them engaged and provide faith growth opportunities? So that's what that position is. If you have questions, you can let me know. But that's going to be posted, and we'll start doing interviews soon, hopefully. So, but that kind of draws us back to, I mean, we've gone from December to February to January to February, and now I'm going to bounce us back a little bit to the end of January. I think the last day of January, talk about the annual meeting, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a great segue, talking about the good work that's been done and reshaping the way we're going to think about high school and young adult ministry, and a new position for middle school, and kind of looking ahead to this year. Our annual meeting, which is on January 31st, like you said, the last day of the month, in the afternoon at 1:30 in the afternoon on that Sunday on Zoom. We're going to look at the year that has been, and we're going to look ahead to what we're going to be about here in 2021 and beyond, and knowing that we're not the same church that we were last March, certainly, and we're really not going to be the same church going forward, even as we get back to some things that we're all really missing and eager to see. We're going to be kind of in a new world. I like that in some ways better than new normal. We're going to be in a new world, not the old world, but a new world. And so that's what we're going to talk about at annual meeting. Encouraging folks to log on through Zoom, or, with Zoom being able to take people on the phone. If you don't have a computer and want to join that way, you can get a phone number to call in, basically like a conference call. And so you can participate that way. You can sign up for the annual meeting online. There's an online registration that's already up. You just put in a couple of bits of information, and it sends you automatically the link. Or you can call the office during business hours, and they can get you that info as well. But it's kind of that thing we do in the church at the beginning of each new year. It's kind of our New Year's act, where we look back on the year that was, and we look ahead to what we're going to be about. And so it's amazing, as we have been putting together the yearbook, kind of our pictorial annual report with all of the stats and details, but also some of the pictures and stories from the past year. It's been amazing to see how much has happened, even though we haven't had a building that's been open very much over the last year. There's been an amazing amount of ministry that's gone on. Our mission, and we've talked about this over and over, but our mission really has continued in so many ways, and we have been transformed for future mission in ways I think we don't even realize yet. We talk about worship all the time, but it's more than just worship that's connecting with other people. It's small groups. It's the ways we're changing that we serve at area agencies, and connecting with all of these folks that are far beyond us. Just this past week again, had a post we saw on Facebook of someone who's in Nebraska, who's been worshiping with us, and said, literally, as she reposted the details about our upcoming Sunday worship, she said, one of the best things that has happened during the pandemic is I've been able to worship at my home church in Mason City, and then posted the details. I have no idea who this person is, but it's just yet another, and this is almost happening on a weekly basis now, of just how ministry really has gone past all of the boundaries and walls that we used to have and used to honestly wrestle with. How do we get past them? And that's been incredible to watch. So those are some of the things we'll be talking about at annual meeting. So it's a challenging time continuing for us, but it's also still a very exciting time to be the church.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it is challenging to navigate all of this, but it is so exciting to see all the transformation and just to think about all the future possibilities of ministry and how we interact with one another and care for one another. I like that new world. Yeah, it is definitely a new world that we are going to be figuring out how to navigate and live in, but also grow. And it's exciting. So, yeah.
And in that all, I'm so grateful for both of you, and I'm so grateful for our staff, our leadership, which I just think we cannot lift them up enough, and our people, the way that people have adapted and dealt with all of the losses that we've faced. I just am so grateful. And people so often are asking, I know you guys get this too, of like, well, how are you guys doing? How are you doing as pastors? And yeah, I mean, I think if we're honest, there's some really hard times in this, like there is for a lot of people in a lot of realms. But the thing I think that I have been most grateful for is just the incredible amount of understanding and willingness to adapt in order to be church together. And I think our people can't be thanked enough for that. And even down to the finances. We'll talk about the finances at the annual meeting, and the way that our mission's been sustained financially. It's been amazing.
Yeah, and it's not happening everywhere. I mean, that's, talking to colleagues around the area and through the Midwest, there are some congregations that are struggling to be cohesive and kind of work together. And so I am extremely thankful as well, both for as you mentioned, the staff, the leadership and council and committee work, and just the people who have been understanding. And, even in the moments where someone isn't understanding, they're just moments. And so and we have all had those moments, at least I have.
Absolutely.
So I'm very thankful for all those things too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all the right people at the right time, and how that all happens, that God positions us in these particular times, but can be supportive in terms of colleagues and staff and just all the people in the congregation, the leadership. Yeah, I continue to, when I go to council meeting, going, wow, who knew that what these leaders would be called to do, but aren't they an amazing group of leaders to do it? So yeah, it's very good. Yeah. So, well, thank you. And thanks to everybody for joining us. We will be back again next month on the third Tuesday at 9:30. And of course, you can, if you can't catch us then, you can catch us at any time to get a chance to chat and visit and listen to what's going on at Trinity. So blessings to everybody. Have a good day.
Yep. Have a good day, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.